It's Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, European defense startup Helsing raises $1.8 billion in a record round. Meta supersizes its Louisiana data center to 5 gigawatts and more than $50 billion. And the feud between Elon Musk and Sam Altman boils over after Apple's lawsuit against OpenAI. Let's get into it.
Munich-based defense technology company Helsing has closed a $1.8 billion Series E round, valuing the company at $18 billion. It is the largest funding round ever raised by a European defense startup. Helsing builds AI software for autonomous drones and battlefield intelligence, and says investor demand significantly exceeded the available allocation. New and existing backers include Dragoneer Investment Group, Lightspeed Venture Partners, Iconic, Growth Equity at Goldman Sachs Alternatives, JP Morgan Chase, and Canada Pension Plan Investment Board. Founded only in 2021, Helsing says it remains predominantly European-owned and that the new capital will accelerate development of new AI platforms for the defense capabilities of its growing number of partner nations.
From defense to silicon.
Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company posted record second quarter revenue of roughly $39.6 billion, up 36% from a year earlier, driven by relentless demand for AI chips from clients, including NVIDIA and Apple. Because TSMC manufactures nearly all of the world's most advanced AI processors, the numbers serve as a bellwether for the entire industry. The record quarter signals that the massive AI hardware build-out is translating into real chip orders, rather than just press releases and promises. Analysts say the results reinforce expectations that data center operators and chip designers will keep spending aggressively through the second half of the year, even as questions linger about how quickly all that new computing capacity can actually be deployed.
Now to Louisiana.
Meta says its largest data center yet will be far bigger and far more expensive than previously disclosed. The company announced that its Hyperion site in Richland Parish, Louisiana, will scale to 5 gigawatts of compute capacity and cost more than $50 billion. That is nearly double the $27 billion figure attached to the project last October, when Meta formed a joint venture with Blue Owl Capital to finance the build-out. The first 2 gigawatts are expected around 2030, with the full 5-gigawatt campus complete by roughly 2032. Meta is also committing more than $1 billion to local infrastructure, including roads, water, and wastewater systems, as it races to secure computing power for its AI ambitions.
Next, an enterprise alliance.
5 of the biggest names in enterprise software are teaming up against OpenAI and Anthropic. Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, Snowflake, and ServiceNow have agreed to support a shared protocol for AI back-end software, reported to be called Agentic Resource Discovery. The idea is to let employees reach all of a company's AI tools through a single application, making the alliance members' products the unified entry point for corporate AI. Notably, neither OpenAI nor Anthropic appears on the initial list of supporters. Industry watchers describe the deal as an unprecedented corporate team up for control of the plumbing layer of institutional AI deployments, a sign that the enterprise battle is shifting from individual models to the infrastructure that connects them.
Over to Ireland now.
Intel is putting €5 billion, about $5.7 billion, into expanding its Lakeslip campus in Ireland, as global demand for AI and high-performance computing drives the need for advanced silicon. The investment will upgrade existing fabrication facilities and install leading-edge manufacturing equipment to produce Intel Xeon 6 processors and next-generation Xeon chips built on the Intel 3 process node. Most of the money will be spent by the end of 2027, and the project represents roughly 30% of Intel's $17 billion planned capital spending for this year. The expansion adds several hundred jobs to the 4,900 people Intel already employs in Ireland, where it has invested more than €30 billion since 1989.
On to Washington.
The White House plans to bring utility companies and data center developers together around a voluntary pledge aimed at making sure the explosive growth in electricity demand from AI does not drive up power bills for households and businesses. According to sources cited by Reuters, an announcement event is expected in the coming weeks, with several companies vowing to protect current ratepayers from shouldering the costs of the AI expansion. The effort builds on the Ratepayer Protection Pledge, signed earlier this year by Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, and xAI, in which the companies committed to finance new power generation and grid upgrades tied to their data centers. Officials cast the initiative as proof that AI investment and affordable energy can coexist.
More money for power.
Energy infrastructure giant Williams has secured a $5.34 billion investment arrangement led by Blackstone Credit and Insurance, with vehicles managed by Apollo and KKR also participating. The deal gives the investors a 49% non-controlling equity stake in 5 behind-the-meter power projects with names like Socrates, Apollo, and Neo, while Williams keeps 51% ownership and operational control. The projects are part of a development pipeline totaling more than 6 gigawatts of power capacity, built to serve large energy users at a moment when AI data centers have turned electricity into one of the technology industry's tightest constraints. The structure includes $4.4 billion for growth spending, plus roughly $900 million in additional consideration.
Now, that feud.
The feud between Elon Musk and Sam Altman burned through the weekend and into Monday. After Apple filed a trade secret lawsuit against OpenAI on July 10th, accusing the company of a scheme to steal confidential hardware designs at every level, Musk piled on, posting that, quote, "Scam Altman strikes again." He also accused Altman of stealing an open-source AI charity and all of Apple's phone technology. Altman fired back, writing that many benchmarks suggest his company's newest model is the best in the world, but, quote, "The most reliable way to tell is that Elon is obsessed with me again." Apple's suit centers on OpenAI hardware chief Tang Tan, a former Apple vice president, and the $6.4 billion acquisition of Jony Ive's startup.
From feuds to warnings.
Microsoft chief executive Satya Nadella is warning companies about what he calls a reverse information paradox. In a widely discussed blog post, Nadella argues that businesses using frontier AI models pay twice, once with money for tokens, and again with the proprietary knowledge they must reveal to make the models useful. The better you want the model to perform, he writes, the more of that knowledge you have to feed it. His prescription is that companies should retain ownership of their data, including prompts and feedback, build proprietary learning environments in the cloud, and create orchestration layers that let them switch easily between models from different providers. Commentators read the post as a veiled swipe at AI model makers and a pitch for Microsoft's own enterprise platforms.
Next, cyber defense.
Anthropic is tripling the scale of Project Glasswing, its program that deploys a restricted Claude cybersecurity model to find and fix software vulnerabilities in critical code bases. The effort expands from 50 initial partners to 150 organizations across 15 countries, covering utilities, hospitals, financial systems, and open-source projects too, under-resourced to audit themselves. The expansion lands 1 week after security firm Sysdig published its full analysis of JadaPuffer, documented as the first end-to-end autonomous AI ransomware operation. And in the same month, the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance warned that frontier AI models will transform offensive cyber capability in months, not years. Anthropic frames Glasswing as proof that defensive AI can outpace the attackers.
Now, new research.
Researchers at Google DeepMind have published new work in the journal Nature Machine Intelligence showing that large language models can exhibit coherent multi-step planning without ever being explicitly trained to plan. The findings suggest that planning ability emerges from scale itself, rather than from specialized training techniques. That matters because planning is the backbone of agentic AI. Systems that break a goal into steps, act on them, verify results, and adapt along the way. If planning really does emerge on its own as models grow, developers may be able to build more reliable multi-step agents on top of general-purpose models, while safety researchers gain a clearer picture of exactly when and how these capabilities appear. The paper is already fueling debate across the research community.
Finally, to Brussels.
The European Union's Child Safety Panel delivered its recommendations, urging an EU-wide restriction on social media and other digital services for children under 13, with limited exceptions for parental supervision and education. The report says the burden of proof must sit with providers, not regulators, parents, and children, and that platforms should demonstrate their services, including algorithmic recommendation systems, are safe by design. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen endorsed phased and gradual access for different age ranges, with time-limited use for younger children and gradual access for teenagers on platforms that prove they are age-appropriate. The final report will form the basis of legislation the Commission plans to propose after the summer, with major implications for AI-driven feeds and recommendation engines.
That's your briefing for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.